Nakey Jakey can revisit your childhood. I've broken it down into 3 base points: video games, visuals and music, and storytelling.
Here we go!
Video games, whether it's modern or classics, Jakey finds a way to demonstrate the impact a video game can have on a person's life, good or bad.
I say, little fella, you better get this fat-ass bitch off of my back pronto.
And how that molds a person into who they become. Yeah, baby, you like that mold? You like mold?
Oh, no.
Visuals and music. The combination of the two bring back flashbacks of sitting down with your childhood friends, triggering the memory response associated with sounds and graphics.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip.
Storytelling. The relatability factor here is high.
We can relate.
He finalizes his mold by turning his ideas into stories. Video games. Jakey was born in 1994.
I was born in 1994.
As was I. 1994 was a great year to be born into. This was the mid-90s. The beginning of the millennial generation.
I get the job?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because you're a baby boomer and I am a millennial.
As well as the beginning of a new era of technology.
Now that I've gotten on the internet, I'd rather be on my computer than doing just about anything.
There was no texting, there was no social media. Barely anyone even had a computer at this time. But if you were a child, you knew damn well that once you were old enough, either you or your friends would have access to video games.
This is Timmy. Timmy knows how to get the coolest, newest video games first. But now, someone else is as cool as Timmy. You! Tune into the...
By 1996, a new video game technology, amongst other technologies, had emerged. That being the N64, a 64-bit console.
Wow.
3D graphics? That shit's amazing, bro! No more side-scrolling! You see, we didn't realize it as children, but we were smack dab right in the middle of what would later be known as the good old days.
Just a good old boy.
We just saw the N64 as a fascinating new technology. Video games was what allowed us to bond with one another. You had to either go to your friend's house to play them, or they had to come to your house. Of course you could play alone, but it was so much more satisfying to play with a friend on your side. The games were a lot harder back then as well, so you wanted someone to pass the controller to.
Give me it. I fucking need that.
I mean, of course, if it wasn't for video games, we'd be outside making memories that way. But it wasn't that way, was it? No. Our parents certainly wanted it that way, though, because that's what they had grown up. But this is our thing. This is our childhood.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
The majority of Jakey's content completely revolves around this idea of video games. By going to Jakey's page, you can see throughout the years, all his videos revolve around the idea of video games and how video games can shape ideas. Jakey understands the impact video games can have. Otherwise, he wouldn't be making such beautiful essays about them.
I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Yeah! Yeah! In some of these, in some of these. Almost there and done.
4 years of just straight video game content. But not playing or streaming the video games. He's talking about them and the impact they have. That's what I enjoy about him. It's the small things, like clothing in video games, beer in video games,
Fuck you, Piper!
dogs in video games.
They're purely focused around a dog because that's not very engaging, and also I got PSP, I don't got a fucking DS.
These are basic principles of a game, but Jakey will expand on these ideas, squeezing every bit he can out of them. Although we internally know video games had an impact on us, we never really see it the way Jakey explains it to us. It's important because video games really shaped who we are as a society. Jakey wants to let us know this. He wants to bring it all out on the table and show us the greater good of video games. Visual and music. Our brains are wired in many different ways. One thing that has always interested me about our brains is memory. The fact that we as humans can reminisce about the old times and feel great inside. A lot of memories are actually locked away deep inside of us. We've actually forgotten they were there. The only way to trigger these memories is through what is known as echoic memory. It's a form of sensory memory. Memories that are triggered through sounds or music from the past. You see, as children, we play these video games, listening to these iconic sounds and music. Our brains store these sounds and associate it with the activity you're doing, which is having fun, playing video games with your closest friends. Without even realizing it, this is what is happening. So in the future, after you've long gone and forgot about these moments, they are stored deep inside, waiting for someone to come along and access these memories. That's where Jakey comes in.
Dude, holy shit, what the fuck are you doing?
It's for the thumbnail, man. Just get a close up, dude. It's gonna be sick.
What, dude?
Within seconds, you're taken on your own journey in your own head, watching his videos. The combination of the choice of music and the graphics are chosen from the classic video games of our past. Jakey himself has videos titled The Power of Video Game Music.
Just want to celebrate those sweet-ass bangers all hot boys and gamer girls are so lovingly familiar with.
And The Power of Video Game Sound Effects.
The clicky-clackies of the Pip-Boy in Fallout 4, adding to the immersion of using this busted-ass wristband.
Understanding the true power sounds and music can have on our beings. Also, his other video, The Death of Video Game Box Art, lets the audience know that great visuals can be just as important to the time amongst the video game itself.
But this one is so much more pretty.
Jakey is fully aware of his impact, and he takes full advantage of it, which is why his videos have such an impact on not only me, but anyone who watches. Each video is precisely thought out in a visually appealing and sound-provoking manner. If you grew up in our time, okay, I could scroll through any one of his videos, click on one, and you'd be taken on a ride just through the sounds and music alone. So let's try it. Let's just listen to one of Nakey Jakey's videos.
Punches turn into impactful bops. Stupid ass Karate Kid moves into tactical chops. You missed the dunk, but the fucking jam don't stop. Branching off this action feedback category is a subcategory titled Guns.
Isn't that nice? Doesn't that take you back? We are all connected to our generation in some way through sounds. Isn't that cool? Shit's lit, fam! I mean, if it wasn't for video games, it would be something else that brought our childhood together. But it's not. It's video games. The sounds of Tony Hawk grinding on a rail, or the beautiful graphics of GoldenEye frolicking about. These are the keys to unlocking our childhood memories. I mean, Jakey explains it best.
The way San Andreas gets that warm orange glow sometimes, or Red Dead's starry sky at night. And it's not just the sky, but the rain.
Without Jakey, these memories may have gone on long forgotten. Jakey brings the meat to the table. You just gotta eat it. Let me say, he sure knows how to cook a good nostalgia stew.
Come down later for moose soup!
And finally, storytelling. Since the dawn of time, man, woman, and
Hi, I'm Danny, and I identify as non-binary.
have been telling stories to one another for a few reasons. One, they want to warn their loved ones of danger.
Timmy's in the well!
So rather than have them experience the danger themselves, they manipulate stories of what's to come if you find yourself heading in the wrong direction. A way of scaring loved ones away from danger itself.
No, probably.
Stories are told to pass down traditions, to teach, to learn, blah 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 blah. But stories are also told for the memories themselves, and also not only to relate to one another, but to be entertained. Storytelling is almost as old as humans themselves. It was all they had, and yet today it's still all we have, but in different terms. We have TV and books, etc. Everything is a story. Every memory you have is a story. Every video of Nakey Jakeys is a story.
Fuck. Oh.
The art of video game title screens, making an open world, Rockstar Games, dogs in video games, the power of video game sound effects, beer in video games. You get the idea, the list goes on and on. Jakey will take your memories as a child
Stop whining. I told you what's gonna happen.
But this is the part.
and express them through his analyzation of his topics. Relatability. His video essays are intriguing and exciting because of the relatability factor. It's the art of storytelling, which Jakey has nailed.
Microwave ain't working.
Nailed it.
Jakey will take you on an in-depth journey of not only the history of the video game itself, but the history of his experience with said video game, bringing in that relatability factor I mentioned. You end up feeling connected with Jakey.
Apparently, partners can actually get stuck together during sex.
Because you have the same thoughts that he is expressing. Or maybe you didn't have those thoughts at all. But now that he laid it out in a certain way, you're enlightened.
Praise you, Lord. Thou art risen, Lord God.
And can now see things in a different perspective that you never even considered before. We think certain ways about video games, but nobody ever discusses those interesting thoughts. Rarely anyway, if any. We just let them brew in our minds over time. So when we put it out on the table like this, we get excited. It's a way for us to share a mutual feeling that otherwise would have went unnoticed. When Jakey says he loves a video game but has some problems with it, it's as true as it gets.
It's true.
If it wasn't for Jakey's storytelling ability, his videos wouldn't even be worth watching. It would be a gold mine under a mountain of garbage. The art of storytelling allows everyone in. The boomers who think video games are evil and detrimental to our mental health can take a moment and watch Jakey's videos and really connect without even playing the video game. Sure, they won't have the straightforward relatability factor that we have, but they can relate in other ways through other memories that they have. A good story can intrigue anyone who's willing to listen. We may not all know video games, but we certainly all know stories. In the end, it doesn't even matter. As children, we played countless amounts of video games, making beautiful memories with our siblings and our friends. These memories are locked deep inside our brains, and the keys to unlock these memories are found through the sounds and graphics of the time. Through stories and representations, we can gain access to these memories. Nakey Jakey can revisit your childhood.